Got, I guess, one of the Kawasaki family, Jimmy Wilson, here on the show, getting ready to throw down at World Finals next week, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
No, it's great. It's funny. I've kind of been watching you for last year. So what is this year? Is this second year that you've been factory Kawasaki?
Yeah, so my second full season with
Full season.
Cowie, we had like a kind of like a 2 or 3 month contract in the end of 2023, which kind of started this whole thing. We went to Thailand, so I was contracted for just a short stint there, but all of 2024, now all of 2025.
So, well, it's funny. Thailand, it's funny because a lot of people, some of the listeners to this aren't obviously diehard like jet ski people and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, I kind of put into perspective Thailand because a lot of my listeners have heard of World Finals, obviously because it's the United States, but Thailand, there's some massive events that happen over there.
Yeah, so we as the racers we call it the King's Cup. It's in Pattaya, Thailand. It's probably the biggest event of the year for jet ski athletes. Um, it, like it's got the most prestigious trophies. It's got the biggest, funding, biggest payouts, and it's really cool. Like when you go to the awards banquet, I mean, you have the people from Pattaya, the kings and the guards and some of the military, like they're there presenting some of the awards. So it's a really huge event.
Well, I see, like, I've seen a lot of like the social media and the stuff that comes out of that event. I go, you want to talk about spectators? Like, man, it is wild.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that like jet ski racing is such a huge thing over there, but and I don't know if it is such a huge thing or the fact that there's not a lot that goes on, so when something shows up, it's
Yeah.
cool for them, but yeah, we have a huge spectators show up at this event, this huge grandstands, and it used to be probably something similar to the World Finals here, but the World Finals has kind of dwindled a little bit in comparison to them, and they seem to be growing on the spectator side, so it's pretty nice.
Well, it's funny you say that too, because it's a lot of things. Like, I'm here in Parker, so I'm 30 minutes away from you right now. But it's like I can have the ski in the water at any given time. Like we see all these jet ski races between Havasu and Parker and things like that. Like you start taking it for granted. It's like there's something else going on in 2 weeks. I'm not worried about it. But other areas of the country and honestly, a lot of people that jet ski like it's a big thing for them to get in the water once a month because they're so far away from the water. And I think like here in the Southwest, especially Western Arizona, completely taken for granted on our part.
Well, it's funny, like we race jet skis professionally. I mean, this is what I've done for 20 some years. And I live and breathe jet skis. And, we come out here and it's funny, my fiance and I were driving around today in town and she's like, it's unbelievable. Everywhere you look is a jet ski. And it's not just like runabouts. There's a lot of stand-ups and old skis and it's pretty neat because for us coming from the East Coast, like you don't see stand-up jet skis a lot. I mean, we train and we have a bunch ourselves, but like the general public doesn't know what a stand-up jet ski is. But out here, like this is Mecca for stand-up jet skis. Like this is where you want to come to do it.
Yeah. And it's funny, I grew up like I've been in Parker my entire life, Parker, Havasu area. And it's like I grew up jet ski to me meant stand up. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So that was like in other areas of the country, like people are like, what do you do? Oh, I jet ski. And they're like, oh yeah, I got a sea-doo,
Yeah.
or something like that. I'm like, no.
No. No.
It's funny the way like different people from different areas of the country, no, you remember the stand-ups. Like, what? Like, oh, way back when that was on TV. I'm like, yeah, those.
Yeah, if we see someone, they're like, "Oh, they still make those?" I'm like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, these are literally brand new 2025s. I mean, like they still make them to this day.
Yeah.
So
Well, one of the cool things too is like I feel like especially like the last 3 or 4 years, maybe since COVID, but the vintage stand-up jet ski stuff has got really popular. I feel like it's just been a huge resurgence in the vintage stuff.
well, I mean, I think racing as a whole, like jet skis, dirt bikes, side by sides. I don't know much about them, but like I know dirt bikes and jet skis a little. And like people want to race and they want to do this, but it's really expensive. And like the vintage watercraft, I mean, dude, you can go find them in people's yards that just want them gone. Like now they spend a good chunk of change to get them like race ready, but like considering how like our race boats are now looking at like 40 plus $1,000, a vintage ski, you can go and get into it for say 4 or 5 grand total, probably, maybe more on some of these guys, but like you can go have fun for like next to nothing. And that's where I think like a lot of that classes came back, because you can do it on a, kind of on a budget build and go have fun, and ride them all the time, and there's less maintenance. And so it's pretty cool to see, like, and honestly, to me, like watching anything race is cool. And there's some really good battles that go on the vintage class, so it's pretty fun to watch even out here on the main stage. Like, I look forward to vintage day, because it's, these guys are bumping and banging and people are falling all over the place, and it's actually really freaking fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, and it like, to me, it's I give him a lot of credit too, because like, I mean, I'm on an SXR, a 1500, and it's like one of those where I cut through the chop and it's like nothing. Man,
Yeah.
some of those old 550s getting the chop and stuff, and you're like, oh, they are getting worked, man.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, I'm 36, so like I'm kind of this in between era. Like, I started on a 440, and then my first race ski was the SXR 800 in 2005. So I like grew up on the small stuff, or vintage stuff. But like these guys like Nicholas Rios, Chris McCluggage, Dustin Farthing, the Jeff Jacobs, the Canamoris, like that group, they are so talented because they had to live on these things. Like, I don't know how they raced like they did on them.
Oh, yeah.
So like, the today's group, these kids that come up and their first ski is like a 4-stroke Yamaha Superjet, or even the 2-stroke Yamaha Superjet, and then they go to the SXR 1500, and it's like, dude, you guys don't know what you're missing out on technique and stuff, because like you said, like the skis now are so good. Kawasaki's done such a good job, like, even Yamaha, that the skis work compared to back then. Like, you had to really know what you were doing to make that ski go straight, let alone try to turn it. So
Yeah. So I want to kind of go back. We'll talk about world finals here in a minute, some of that. But how did you get your start in jet ski racing? So I know you've been riding for your whole life, but your dad raced and had like a shop, correct? Or how
yeah.
did that work? Yeah.
Yeah, so my mom and dad both raced, actually, late 80s, early 90s. My dad had he was 50% in a small shop in Buckeye Lake, Ohio, like out in the middle of nowhere. And I grew up in it, I mean, I grew up riding with my parents. Like, I have pictures of me on my mom's Yamaha Wave Blaster in like 1993 or 4, and like I couldn't even touch, like my dad would just take the throttle cable off, and like I'd just cruise around while they were taking a break in between their practice motos. And then we rode my entire life coming up, and I'd spend Saturdays at the shop with my dad working on skis. And unfortunately, like, he sold the shop 6 months before I started racing. Like, he was kind of just getting frustrated with it, and he sold out. And I was like, well, I want to go race. And he goes, well, that sucks, because that would have been a great write off. But now, like, now we're funding it all out of our own pocket. So then we started racing in 2005, and then it's been wide open ever since. I've taken like 1 or 2 years off here and there for family reasons, but we've been going pretty strong since 2005.
Well, and I mean, you're one of the guys, like, you were spoiled here in the Southwest because there's just so much racing and different
Yeah.
series and stuff like that. But you're traveling all over the country. I mean, even international stuff, like you're bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, like, I mean, growing up, I mean, I'm from Ohio. I moved to North Carolina in 2009, and my parents and I raced everywhere. I mean, we went to, New York, all the way to Reno, Nevada, to Texas, Havasu, to South Florida. I mean, we've been all over the United States. And then in 2022, I had my first experience with going overseas. Went to Olbia, Italy, for Borgstrom Racing. Hoken and his family helped me out get over there, and that was just kind of like a fun trip to see it.
Yeah.
And it was an eye opener. Like, racing overseas is way different than us. The level is it's just next level. I mean, these guys are phenomenal. And there's a bunch of them here. You get a handful every weekend. There, the entire group of 20 some riders was like world class athletes. And then the deal with Cowie came along in 2023, and that took it to a whole nother level, where they wanted to race the World Series. So we've been to Belgium, Poland, Thailand a couple times, Havasu and Japan. And it's been a really cool opportunity for us. So we travel even now. Like, during the World Series, we're in the East Coast. We race all summer long, bouncing around anywhere from, South Florida to New York, just trying to train to get ready to go overseas.
Yeah. Well, and how was that when you got the call from Cowie? Because I mean, Kawasaki as a whole, like I've different manufacturers, especially in power sports, do things different. But Kawasaki has been very like selective in who they bring in, and if you're, they don't extend sponsorship to just anybody. I mean that's got to be one of those calls you work your whole career for, right?
Well, dude, I can't even explain this. This is to say what you're saying. I This is like a dream come true. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for anybody. And in 2005, I was at my first World Finals, and I walked through Vendor Alley at the World Finals. I'm like, oh look, there's the factory Cowie semi, and like Kanamori's under it, Emmy, and I think at the time I don't know if Farthing was underneath there or it was McCluggage, one of the two in runabouts. And I was just like, that's the dream, right? I'm 16 years old, and I'm like, yeah. And then, like, as racing went on, the semi disappeared, the factory support disappeared, and I was like, well, that dream has come and gone. I mean, and then in 2023, I actually probably had my worst year, to be completely honest with you. I was in a funk. I had gained some weight, wasn't really doing what I was supposed to, and we came out here, and there was an event through the Pro Watercross Series. The weekend before the IGSBA World Finals, and there's a conflict where if you raced one, you couldn't race the other. Well, I went and raced Pro Watercross, and I couldn't race the IGSBA World Finals, but we were here, so I was spectating, and uh, a sponsor of mine, Tom at Hot Products, he's always helped me over the years. We were walking through the pits, my fiance and I, and he's like, hey, come here, I need to talk to you. I was like, all right, cool. He's like, hey, I got a question. I was like, yeah, what's up? He goes, would you go to Thailand? I said, of course I'd go to Thailand. He goes, would you race for Kawasaki? I said, that's a dumb question. Of course I would race for Kawasaki. And he's like, well, you want to meet him? I said, yeah. And he's like, all right, come on. Like, I've got tennis shoes on, just, we're just normal clothes, like no racing. I don't even have a trailer in the pits, nothing. And we walk down, and they're all incognito down at the end in this plain white trailer, hiding in a corner. And I meet Joe Heim and Minoru and a bunch of guys, and they're like, "You want to test ride the skis?" Sure, I'd love to. So I rode the ski for like 5 or 10 minutes. I was like, I think we could do this. So he shimmed the ride plate, like just a little quick test. Went back out and was like, "Yeah, I think it's a little bit better for sure." Like, he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Do you think you could race it?" And I was like, "I mean, yeah." Yeah, I mean, I think we could. And because I raced pro watercross, I wasn't allowed. So they're like, all right, well, maybe we can do something for Thailand. We'd like to talk to you, after this event. I was like, okay, I mean, I'd love to talk to you. And I left going, well, crap, I don't know if they're actually going to call or what. And I got a phone call, and I was like, yeah, of course, I'll meet you in Havasu whenever you want.
Yeah.
So we tested, and like I said, it was like a 2 month contract or something. And, like the end of the year, like January 1st was like the end of it. And I was like, well, it's still cool,
Yeah.
like I'll take it. Um, and coolest experience, went to Thailand, and like I was nervous enough. I rid the ski like 4 or 5 times, and we get there, and like it's bad enough you get there and there's like 4 or 5 mechanics and helpers, and you got Hiro, Minoru, and Tomatsu, and everyone's sitting there, and I'm like, this is my first experience and first time on the ski, and right, and I go out and ride practice, and I come in, and now there's like 5 or 10 more Cowie shirts on the beach, right? And I don't know who they are, and they're all Japanese. Like, I'm like, oh crap, and then I go do something else, come back, and there's like another 2 or 3. Next thing I know, there's like 30 or 40 Japanese, Kawasaki employees, and like there's like the number two and like head of marketing and head blah blah blah, and I'm so nervous I couldn't think straight. So like it was a dream come true, and then it was the most stressful thing in my life at the same time. And I crapped the bed really bad the first year. Like I really struggled. I don't even know that we got into the top 10 in that first year. I don't even know I got in the top 10 in one of the motos. Maybe one of them I got ninth or something, but it was a real big struggle for me. And I left that first year going, oh, I'm never getting called back. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Um, so it was cool to go through that and then end up where we are now, where we're 2 years into a 2-year deal, and we're leading the World Series, and we've made a lot of progress as a team and as a rider, myself personally, thanks to them pushing me to get out of my slump. So it's been a really freaking cool opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and obviously it brings us to World Finals. A lot of people come out. How long you been in Havasu? 'Cause I know, I mean, World Finals is a week long. Would you spend 2 weeks in Havasu leading up, like a week leading up to the World Finals week?
Well, normally I don't come out till this upcoming weekend. But this year I was like, I want to come out for 2 weeks, and that way, like, if I have to work on any skis, I can get that done, and I can train a little, and then recover next week and be ready. Because last year I worked on skis like the whole week leading up to me racing, and it's just really tough to do it that way. So this year we came out for 2 full weeks before the race, and it's nice because you get acclimated to the weather. We're from the humidity, in South Florida, and just moved to North Carolina. You come out here and it's dry and it's
Yeah.
totally different. I mean, so it's nice to get out here and get acclimated to the weather, ride a little bit, get used to the skis again, and get ready for next week.
Yeah. So talking about next week, obviously, I think what you podiumed last year, correct?
Yeah, yeah, we ended up getting third last year.
Yeah. So I guess what heading into this week, obviously you want to be on top of the box. I mean, what are you doing? What preparations? I mean, who are you looking at? How are you approaching this differently than you did last year?
I mean, honestly, I'm not really doing anything different. I'm one of those people, like, I'm just blessed to be here and be in the moment. And, I train hard and I do what I'm supposed to on and off the ski. But in the end of it, I believe it's just things are gonna work out the way they are. So I don't stress too much. I just try to enjoy it because, I'm one of those people that think tomorrow's never promised. So I'm gonna make the most out of it while we can. So, I don't really think about anyone else. I just try to enjoy myself, and I know there's probably on any given day, there's 5 to 10 guys that could legitimately win a moto, if not the overall, every time we go race. This year might be a little different because there's actually a conflicting race the weekend after the World Finals in Olbia, Italy. So a lot of the Europeans are going to struggle to ship their boats here, race, ship their boats to Olbia the following weekend. So some of the top guys, I don't know if they're going to come. Like Quentin, he's a huge competitor. Jeremy Perret, Kevin Redderer, those type of guys, like they're a handful every time you line up. But even here in the United States, I mean, just the local kids in Havasu, you got Coy Curtis, who's really freaking good. Jake Pierce, who's good. Sebastian Guerrero. I'm naming people that are just top of my head. There's a dozen just here local that can go out there and race. So it's going to be really tough, but I'm just looking to have fun and ride my jet ski. Like like you said, like to race for Factory Cowie and have the support that they give me is a dream come true. So I just try to enjoy every moment I can. And, we eat good, we train, we get up at, 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, and we're either hiking down at Sarah's Park or going for a run. Luckily my fiance's good. She's huge fitness athlete. Like she's all into the food and the diet and the training, and so she's got me on pretty good programs. um, and then we ride in the afternoon, evening, for a little bit, and try not to kill ourselves and try not to do anything stupid. I mean, there's been a lot of people that came out here and been the most prepared they've ever been, and they get in an accident at Body Beach the week before and break a leg or break an arm, and then your whole week's just shot. So we're trying to be smart, not overdo it, not dig yourself in a hole you can't come out of next week.
Yeah, well, I always think too, like even with like some long distance desert races, it's like people get close like a week out, and it's like they start cramming and cramming and cramming, and and I'm like, if you're not ready by now, you're probably
Yeah.
not going to be ready. So it's just
No,
keeping the
100%.
routine.
Yeah, the only thing that I like to do is when I come out is like keep the routine, but I don't get to ride my race boats unless we're racing.
Uh-huh.
Um, just because it's hard. Kawasaki's in California. We live on the East Coast. Luckily, I'm blessed enough to get to come out quite a few times a year and do some testing and riding with Kanamori and them. But there's nothing like your race ski. First, at home, I have a practice ski. It's a little slower. It doesn't accelerate as hard. So it's nice like this. Like I don't go ride like crazy, but I go put 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in on a ski a day, and that's it. Like some of these guys, you see them down there, like you said, they're riding hours and hours, and I'm like, have fun, dude. But I'm too old for that, and I won't be able to walk tomorrow if I go do that crap for a week straight. So
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
I do say, like, I've raced a lot of different stuff, ridden a lot of different things. I will say riding a stand-up jet ski at a high level for 30 minutes, like, there's nothing else like it on the planet. Like, I'm destroyed, man. If you go and ride for hard for 30 minutes, it's like it's the wildest workout, I swear.
Yeah. No, I've been pretty blessed to try some cool stuff in my life. Like I've raced runabouts, done endurance racing. I've done some product development testing, where you're just logging hours on skis. I've done stand-ups. I've ridden motorcycles. I've raced mountain bikes. Dude, riding jet skis for 20 plus minutes, like these jet skis, like I can go ride stock stuff for 20, 30 minutes and
Yeah.
you can take a little water break and go back at it. 20 plus minutes on a GP boat at 70 some miles an hour and how fast they accelerate, it's a whole nother level. I mean, the ski, like people don't even understand it. Like I don't really like wetsuits, so I train sometimes in my shorts. And the water as you're turning is hitting you so hard you'll bruise your hips just from the water. Not falling, not hitting the ski, just the water. So like what you do to your body for 20 plus minutes is pretty impressive.
Well, talking about the GP skis, so I mean, let's talk about that. Like the tech now, like in these modern GP skis, is insane. Compare that to when you first started racing, because I
Oh,
mean, like people don't even talk about that because a lot of people on the outside they look and they go, "Oh, it's just a jet ski." Like, but the tech behind it, like the last 10 years, has been insane. The push.
yes, like when I started, it was all two-stroke, like 800 cc engines, 700 cc engines, from Yamaha and Kawasaki. Even the modified boats, like they were 850 cc's, like that was it. You had dry pipes, head, carbs, like ignitions. They were hard to ride. They were very fast, don't get me wrong. But we basically have a small car engine now. Like it's a four-cylinder 1500 cc Kawasaki engine. We're running pistons, cams, rods, head porting, fully programmable ignition systems, aftermarket pumps, lightweight hulls. Like the only thing I think we really use that's stock anymore is like the block itself. Like if you look at it in the outside, it looks stock, but the internals, there's nothing stock. I mean, the hulls are lightweight carbon, or composite hulls. The pumps are all aftermarket. The all the internals, I mean, it's a whole nother level. I mean, and the cool thing is now it's all four stroke. We were two strokes back then, so you were always tuning, jetting, and
Yeah.
now, like, don't get me wrong, I know Kanamori works his butt off at home on the dyno and has things, like he's working hard behind the scenes, but when we go to the races, they're pretty freaking good. I mean, when I say pretty good, they're really freaking awesome. We don't really work on much when we're racing. Knock on wood, that's the goal, right? But like we don't have to tune them. We don't have to do that. Do a little bit of prop work, make sure everything's dialed in whenever we go somewhere, and then like they're pretty bulletproof in a sense. Where the old two strokes, man, they were a nightmare. If it was, we're here for Havasu for a week. Well, like the week we're coming up, it's in the like upper 80s, low 90s, but I think the forecast shows it's gonna be like 103 or 105 or something on race weekends. If that was a two stroke, we'd be rejetting halfway through the
Right.
week to try to catch up, and like now we don't have to do that. So it's
Yeah,
super cool to have the technology, and we're really blessed to have Kanamori and some of the stuff we have on the ski that like no one else in the world has
Katamori is
that
like
makes.
the mad scientist. He's one of my favorite humans. That dude is so much. Just talking with him, he's just amazing to talk to. But that guy's mind just spins in different ways that I can't even comprehend.
Yeah, like some of the stuff he does, I would have thought about it. But once he's done it, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
Like little things, like, I mean, little things that go a long way, I mean, like one of the first times I met him, we had a little issue with the hull. When I say issue, something that I didn't really care for. And he's like, yeah, I noticed that. He's like, I got some ideas. The first time I met him, I flew out for like a weekend, like a 3-day weekend in Havasu. And I swear he had already had it fixed in the first 5 minutes of testing. We pretty much just rode the rest of the weekend. And I was like, well, that was weird. Like, I've never been with someone that's like, I got an idea. I'm pretty sure this should fix it. And then they like nail it on the first try. I mean, like he did. Like the first thing he did, we kept testing, and every time we'd come back to that first test, and I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, the first one's better. Like every time we tested all day one day, and we ended up coming back to the first 5 minutes. I was like, well, I mean, it's cool that he's like that confident and he knows his stuff, but he still will give me every opportunity to try all these things, even if he believes one thing's right. Like he doesn't just say it's his way. But now I don't even do that. I'm like, hey, don't waste your time or mine. Like if you believe there's like narrow that window. Don't give me the whole, semi truck. Just, give me the little box truck worth of parts, I mean, and it's taken the ski and my riding to a whole nother level because like he's just so smart that he can tell me, like he can watch videos and know what's going on, and he adjusts the ski before I even ride it the next time, like for the next race, and I get on it and he goes, yeah, I played with this and this, and I'm like, well, it worked, like, so thank you. I mean, he's one of the smartest guys I've ever met. I mean, I've been around some really smart dudes. Tim Judge is another one, that raced against Kanamori back in the day. And Tim is super smart, but Kanamori, man, he's on another level from some of these guys. Like it's pretty freaking cool. And what people don't know, and I try to give her credit, his wife Emmy has helped me just as much, if not more, because Kanamori and I will start testing and we'll go down a path and I'm like, all right, Emmy, do you want to test the ski? And she'll test it and she'll come in and go, nah, that didn't work. Like it's something I liked, but she'll be like, no. Or she'll straight up say, yeah, I really like this. Like this is good. And we'll keep going down that path. And she has helped me more than like anyone will ever know because Kanamori is just super nice. He's not going to tell me like, hey, you're an idiot. You
Yeah.
need to go left. You're going right, but we need to go left. Emmy is just like, you need to go left. Like she tells you right away. And I'm really appreciative of having her like as that person in the team because if not, like if you just try to please me as a rider, like you go down this path and then the ski's way off and we wasted a bunch of time and effort and then we don't have the results that we get. Like so having him and her has just been crazy cool. And I'm one of those people, I'm super simple. Like I was blessed to have the skis, so I didn't want to change anything. Yeah, I wasn't the most happy the first time I rode it, but I was like, yeah, I'll ride that, sure. Like you could give me a 2x4, and if it said Kawasaki on the side of it, like I'll figure out how to ride it because I was that happy.
You're just happy to be there.
Yeah, like I didn't care at all. But to have them two and like what they'll do for me, like it's just super cool. I mean, I'm not that, like, I'll be honest. I don't believe I'm like the best rider. I don't believe I'm the fittest rider, but I do believe right now, like we have the best ski, the best team, and it makes my life as the rider like super easy to have them, working on the skis and like I don't have to even think like, and I really don't. I don't even have to think. I don't have to say, hey, I think we could just this ride play, or hey, I think we could do this. I did that in Poland last year, and it was the biggest regret of my life. I was like, hey, it got rough in Moto 2. Do you think we could shim the plate for Moto 3? He shimmed the plate, and as soon as we went literally on the way to the starting line, all the wind died. It was as flat as a board, and I regretted everything I asked to do because the ski drove so hard on the nose. And I was like, I won't ask for anything ever again. I don't care if like the grips are falling off or nothing. I'm not asking for anything. And this whole year, like I haven't said a peep, and every time, like he just gets better and better and better. So super cool to have these guys on, backing me.
Well, it's nice as a racer when you can just show up and concentrate on racing. You don't have to worry about everything else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like when we race on the East Coast, I'm the guy that loads the trailer. I'm the guy that preps the skis. I'm the guy that unloads, races, like, and I have a small team at home, like 300 Motorsports. I help my fiance and a few younger guys that are coming up and some juniors. And like it's really hard to do that and race, like so when we come to the big stage like World Finals or the World Series, like it's super nice to just show up, not have to stress, and like your weekend goes so much easier when you have people like them. And so even like he's brought in mechanics from overseas and from Japan, and like I'm like, well, if you're allowing them to work on the ski, then they've got to be good.
Yeah.
And like last year World Finals, we had another mechanic, and my ski was absolutely perfect the entire time, to the point where like he's going through every nook and cranny, and he found like a water line that was gonna probably cause us a problem in the next one. And like I didn't even have to think, they fixed all this stuff before we had issues. So yeah, coming out and racing with these guys is just it's a dream come true. Like people have support from Yamaha and stuff, but it's not like this. Like having the factory mechanic, the factory team, like it just makes racing so much easier.
So obviously, big week this week or this coming week. What's World Finals look like for Jimmy Wilson? How's the week lay out for you?
It's pretty chill, to be honest with you. Like we kind of use it as I'm one of those people, like I said, like I really do like try to have fun with it. If I get too stressed, like I'm not going to do good. Like I just want to enjoy life and enjoy what we're doing, and things normally go better for me when I'm having fun. So we're pretty laid back. Like we eat good food. I'm a big family person, so my whole family's out here with me. Um, we cook dinner together, go out to eat, do whatever, that kind of stuff. But like I said, we get up in the mornings and train. We ride in the afternoons, and next week will be pretty chill. It'll be more of a recovery week, and we like to go down and watch the races, watch how the track plays out. It's pretty cool here because there's a week's worth of racing. They start on like Monday or Tuesday, and they race all the way through the weekend. We don't race until Saturday morning. We might practice Friday. So it's nice because we can watch the racing and watch the track develop and see what kind of lines are better or worse. So it's a lot of just watching the starting procedures, and yeah, it's kind of the same thing every weekend, but it's different people that do it. So they do their own little twist on things. So you got to like watch and try to find out, if there's any little sneaky things they do that you can kind of watch for. And then, we'll go into the weekend just kind of relaxed and ready. And also this year is kind of new. We have a teammate from Japan, Mao Sato.
Yeah.
He'll be out here on Tuesday. And like I'm the older guy now. Like when I was starting, Chris McCluggage and Farthing and Nicholas, they were the older guys. And now I'm kind of the older guy. And having the opportunity to have Mao, who's I think he's not even 20 years old
I
yet.
was going to say, I think he's like a teenager still, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's got to be like 19, 20, something like that. And I could be wrong, but he's very young. But to have him like kind of next to me to be able to like help him as much as I can, I really look forward to that this year because he's never been here that I know of. He's never been here on this stage with Factory Cowie, and it's a lot sometimes, especially for a kid. So it'd be cool to like kind of take him, go get his feet wet, go ride at Body Beach, get him to chill down a little bit, and see if we can help him get through the weekend because he's really good. He's just young. I mean, I think he came out of Japan at round one of the World Series, sitting second. Had some struggles in Belgium in round two, but hopefully we can use World Finals, which is not part of the series, to kind of get him back out of a funk and get his head on straight, because going into the World Series finale in Thailand this year, like he has the opportunity to podium for the year if everything goes well. So I just hope, him being young, that we can kind of help him look at this as a positive and like take this next week here in the States to kind of shake the cobwebs off and get back into a good place mentally so he can train and be prepared for Thailand in December.
Awesome. Well, Jimmy, it's been awesome having you on the show. I'll be out there with my activation trailer pretty much all next week, so we'll definitely have to swing by and say what's up, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We look forward to seeing you, and I appreciate you guys having us on.